Have you ever wondered how a conflict that started over 7 decades ago still shapes the geopolitical landscape of the world today? Welcome to a deep dive into the Korean War, an event that forever changed the course of history. June 25, 1950, marked the onset of a bitter conflict that would last for 3 years. The Korean War was an offshoot of the larger Cold War, spurred by the ideological divide between the capitalist West, led by the United States, and the communist East, led by the Soviet Union. Korea, a small peninsula nation, found itself split in two, each half aligning with one of the superpowers. The North, backed by the Soviets, was under Kim Il-sung, while the South, supported by the United States, was led by Syngman Rhee. The war was sparked when North Korean forces crossed the 38th parallel, the line dividing the two Koreas. This marked the beginning of a series of major battles that would shape the course of the war. The Battle of Incheon, led by General Douglas MacArthur, was a significant counterattack by the United Nations forces that turned the tide in favor of South Korea. However, the entry of Chinese forces into the war during the Battle of the Chosin Reservoir would once again change the momentum, leading to a protracted and bloody stalemate. The war would rage on for 3 more years, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. The Battle of Pork Chop Hill and the Battle of Heartbreak Ridge are remembered as some of the most brutal and hard-fought battles of the war, epitomizing the grim reality of the conflict. Finally, on July 27, 1953, an armistice was signed, effectively ending the war. However, it's important to note that a formal peace treaty was never signed, meaning the two Koreas are technically still at war. The long-term consequences of the Korean War are still visible today. The war resulted in the death of nearly 3 million people and left the Korean Peninsula divided, a division that persists to this day. The war also set the stage for a prolonged arms race and ideological battle between the United States and the Soviet Union, which would last until the end of the Cold War. In addition, the Korean War marked the beginning of America's policy of containment, aimed at preventing the spread of communism. This policy would shape American foreign policy for decades to come, influencing events in places as far away as Vietnam and Afghanistan. In summary, the Korean War, sparked by ideological differences and geopolitical ambitions, was marked by a series of major battles that resulted in a stalemate and an armistice that still holds today. The war had significant long-term consequences, influencing global politics, shaping American foreign policy, and leaving a lasting impact on the Korean Peninsula. This conflict, though often overshadowed by other historical events, has had a profound and lasting impact on our world. Understanding the Korean War helps us understand the forces that shape our world today, from the geopolitical tensions in East Asia to the ideological battles that continue to define global politics. So the next time you look at a map and see the line dividing North and South Korea, remember the history behind it, the battles fought, and the people whose lives were forever changed.